one, and we're live. Yay! Hello, Italy.
Hello, England.
Hello,
British friends.
Volare.
Whoa.
Oh.
Nel blu, dipinto di blu. And that's it. I'm happy to fly up to you.
Oh,
Oh.
that is a lovely glass. Are you having early cocktails?
Well, I'm actually drinking water, but I love to treat myself and serve water into this beautiful crystal glass that was my grandmother's.
Oh.
It's
So,
like,
you know, Fiammetta, the force of the crystal is its fragility.
Wow.
So we are talking about self-esteem. We are talking about self-confidence, and maybe this crystal can be a metaphor, a symbol.
see, this can talk about self-confidence, because actually, even being so fragile, because it's very thin, at the same time it's so precious, so valuable, so precious. When we think about crystal, we think about luxury, we think about class, we think about style. And actually, self-confidence is about that.
Yes.
Self-confidence, it is about that, because the crystal of a glass, even being so fragile, has its self-confidence in the origin, from where it comes from. It comes from the earth, from the nature, from the elements. Okay, and the crystal never forgets about the elements it comes from. So that is exactly what we should do with ourselves when we have trouble with our self-confidence. What is it actually, self-confidence for someone, for a woman? We were talking earlier about that, Jennie. I mean, how important self-confidence is in a relationship, in a sentimental relationship with a partner. If I am not self-confident, or if my self-confidence is trembling, the other one will easily push me down. Because if I am trembling, it takes very little for somebody to put you down. You can even fall yourself without even any pushing.
Yes. And when you say that is your grandmother's crystal, the crystal glass, of course, in her time, things were quite different. I mean, women have only been in the workplace since the Second World War, so a lot of our confidence grew then, though she would have been confident in a different way to us, wouldn't she? Was your grandmother confident, would you say?
Well, it's funny, because my grandmother, she was a teacher. Okay, she was a young teacher. She used to walk miles and miles to go to the little school in the woods, where she would teach to children different ages. Okay, and she fell in love with my grandfather was an inspector from the municipality. He fell in love with her. She was beautiful, and she of course fell in love with him because she was handsome and important. Okay, in their relationship, my grandmother was very strong and very clear. At the same time, culturally speaking, by the time, men were, you know, in charge of the situation, and women had to stay home and cook. Okay, my grandma told me that when they got married, the first thing my granddad did was to put a huge kitchen recipe on the table and tell her, you learn now, because my grandmother didn't know how to cook. So the very first thing that was mandatory that my granddad, you know, demanded her to do was to learn how to cook. And that, even metaphorically speaking, is you stay home, you stay in the kitchen, you do the, you know, the cleaning, you do the, okay? So,
Childcare, yes,
Mm.
yes.
so of course, she became the best of cooks. No one ever cooked like my grandma did. At the same time, she gave up on her dreams to fulfill the expectation of the man she was married to, because despite herself, she was, you know, surrounded by a culture that, you know, if you do that, you're a good person. If you don't do it, you're not a good person.
It's interesting though, Fiametta, isn't it, that the confidence that was present in her kind of got transferred into the cooking, because if this is where I can invest my confidence, I'm going to be the best cook ever. You're not going to meet a better chef, a better cook than me. I'm going to be confident in that. It's still confidence. We might like it to be in another arena, but it's still confidence. What do you think, Esther?
I think that this is very old history about female condition and even about maybe humanity condition. We know as women today, even today, that we are living in modernity. So we are living another time of the era. Maybe we are as women today more confident in ourselves with speaking, with acting, with behaviors. But if you notice with a lot of attention the attitude of women at work, for example, you mentioned at work, the women at work. Normally, when we are working, we are um, communicating in a very polite modality, mood. Men, not. Why? Because inside of us, there is a little voice. I mean, rationally, we have changed our mood. But inside of us, inside our art, we are still saying, excuse me, we are thinking that to be accepted in this working society, we must be polite. Or when and sometimes this makes different effects. There are many women that are too much strong, too much, martial, too much direction, too much boss. It's the same source. I feel that I am not accepted, that I have not the right to do this. So I ask for attention, or with sweet, or with bitter.
I understand. Yes, yeah. I've got some friends that said they would much rather work for a man than a woman, because a woman in the business at the top level, a woman can be really feisty, really arrogant to try and prove how strong she is. rather than using her natural confidence. And then, of course, we've got ladies that use their sexuality for power in the workplace, don't we? And I think we're entering a new era where women can be more confident in who they are rather than what partner they can get, who they can seduce, or, you know, even to be the matriarch of the family. You don't have to be a good cook anymore to be confident. I'm not.
And
I
even
do.
even more, because when we recover our self-confidence, when we get in touch with our self-confidence, then of course we don't have to prove anything to anyone. We don't have to show anything to anyone. We don't need to get power, because we know we are power.
Yeah.
So it is not about how do I conquer power, how do I rule over someone or over something, but it's how can I deliver the natural power I am. And to do that, you need to get to the level where you recognize, or you allow yourself to recognize that you indeed are a powerful being, no matter what level of self-esteem you have. You can recover, you can uh, regain your stability in terms of self-confidence. But in the first place, it is important to know that everyone, all of us, are power. All of us are beautiful and powerful human beings. It is just about, let's go there and tune up my power and find out what is the right balance for me.
And do you think historically, in the past, that women prefer a confident man, and that men don't particularly enjoy confident women? Is there there's also a difference with English men and Italian men. We tend to think that Italian men are much more confident, and I
No,
don't.
you know what?
Fake.
Italian would say, forget about it.
Yes, it's a fake.
I would say that what you are saying is very important, because actually, the main side of most of the perception that we do have about self-confidence, about what it is to be self-confident, how confident myself is, most of this, it's due to the uh, social environment. And talking about social now more than ever, because it's not only the society around me, but the social medias, how social medias reflect onto me the picture of the perfect self-confident person. I'm perfect, I'm self-confident. But actually, self-confidence, it's not about showing off, it's not about being perfect. It is about loving oneself in oneself's imperfection. Self-confidence, it is indeed being happy with my body, even if my body, it's not like the cover of a magazine. Being happy with myself, even if I don't have a relationship or a partner. Being confident with my being with myself, with me being happy today, maybe I'm happy tomorrow, but just being me.
Yeah,
So
I blame all of this on Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. They've given us these stereotypes of Italian men being confident. And, so, Esther, what does somebody do physically to transmit confidence, and how has that changed from women in the past to women now?
Oh, it's changed a lot. You talked about English and Italian self-confidence. What is the difference? And maybe also in the approach to the others, women or men, Italian and women. We must remember that we have a long history of emperor, of the ancient Roman. We have a long history in terms of civilization. So behind me, there is the history of my mother, of my grandmother, and and Roma and Italy after was the center of the world. So we have these in our NDA, inside our cells. It is like heredità. It's like heritage.
So I just want to add a little bit here, Esther, because perhaps our viewers don't know, but when I was in Greece and as I've studied Greek literature and Greek dramas, etc., I realized that, yes, everything kind of began in Greece, but all the clever people from Greece went to Italy. Pythagoras and all of the influential Greek philosophers moved from Greece to Italy. So you're descended from very good stock. Very good.
Yes. Very good miscellaneous as well. Yes. And also, I can remember Fiammetta, an experience of Fiammetta. Can you remember Take Back Your Power, Girl? Okay. Take back your power means that as female, it's better to remind me my role in the nature. My role, it's a feminine energy. This feminine energy is something that is inside of me, and maybe to come back to this feminine energy can be a key of self-love, self-esteem, and self-confidence. Because to be woman, this not means to be feminine. In nature, the feminine power, the feminine energy is love, is attention, is care, is, maybe we can say, also the moon communication. This not means that I am fragile. This means that the force of this communication in nature, of this feminine communication, has these characteristics. In terms of magnetism and in terms of morphophysiognomy, we can easily recognize the self-esteem in our body observing the shoulders. Okay, this is the main structure. So when I am vertical, when I am I have love for myself, when I have assurance by me, my shoulder naturally are up and right, we can say. Not this and not this. This is too much, and this is,
Just look at Fiammetta's perfect shoulders there. Perfect.
Please, let's remember that, for example, and this is very interesting, my body is very feminine, very generous. So my breasts are very heavy. So how can this connect? Isn't it funny? Because maybe the same weight of my breast may have my shoulder naturally going down.
Yes.
And to me, trying to keep them up, it's twice more an effort. So it's funny because, the feminine energy, that's feminine, this at the same time, it's like if it was a weight to carry.
Yes. Yes, I understand that. I remember at primary school when we were all little girls, the headmistress saying to us, "Come on, girls, shoulders back, chest out." So they're always saying that about back straight, shoulders back, chest out. And we were all thinking, oh, isn't that showing off? That's not. But I understand now. She wanted us to be proud women. She wanted us to be, not to develop like this, to be proud.
It's also physiological, because
Yeah.
if you are, it's also a question of breathing. When our shoulders are open, all the air can naturally enter and oxygen our body and also our mind. If you are closing our body, our breathing is different. And something else that maybe can be interesting in terms of mesmerism and magnetism, it is also a question of temperature. Lack of self-esteem is frozen, is cold.
Oh.
So even my body can suffer the cold. The exceeds of self-esteem is warm.
That's interesting. Wow.
So we can balance these in very simple, with very simple approach, because we have discovered along this our live stream that the approach of magnetism is very simple. You can even touch the person and feel which part are cold and which part are warm.
Wow.
The equilibrium is a... Okay, so it is also said that some emotions, and Fiammetta, you are an expert like in this in this topic. Also, emotions, as they are energy, also emotions can be connected to temperature. So sadness, depression, worry are cold.
Anxiety, fear.
Yes. Body is cold. Hunger, frustration, rage, and all these are warm. And also there are some organs that are affected to this lack of or too much of, that are related to these emotions. Normally, when someone comes to me at cabinet, I say intense, what I mean with tense. So that body is not in equilibrium, it is not equilibrated. Before to start any kind of treatment, any kind of session, and any kind of, it is important to stimulate the normal vitality of the person. And the normal vitality can balance in a natural way all that effects that are related, for example, to oppression of emotions, for example. So normally when I see a critical mind that, okay, I'm too much, I never start with hypnosis or with magnetic treatments or coach or, you know, before I start with a magnetic message that is not a manipulation message. Magnetic passes are done close to the person, not touching. It is like an energy message. And this magnetic message immediately balance the body and then the mind. So the mind can be quiet, and with a quiet mind and a balanced body, we can start to work.
I'm so glad that you've explained that, Esther, because one of the reasons why you're coming over here in September, and we want both of you guys here in England, is because you two have skills that we don't. And nothing seems more confident to us than a woman doing what you do. You know, there seems to be quite a few men doing this sort of thing, but to see you approach someone and do the magnetic passes that we don't understand why you do them, we just see you do the magnetic passes, and then the person either collapses or is regenerated. You have such an impact. You do magic, and now you are able to explain to us what reason you do this, what reason, and that really helps, and it will help our people that want to come in September understand how you can change somebody so profoundly. You can change them by doing these magnetic passes. It's amazing to us.
Magnetism is feeling. These magnetic passes permits to connect you and connect me to your inner energy. It is like to be aware of. Even emotions or even thought are not visible, but they exist. So it is like we are getting contact with gentle, with your inner energy. We are raising, we are light, and as energy, there is a field of energy around us. To contact, to connect, and then to put the person to be aware of this invisible energy, it is something that immediately change and set the perception of the person. Inside of us, we are quiet. It is not.
Can you believe that we do have a magical shield all around us, like in movies? Like, can you believe? To me, it was like, oh my God! But as soon as I become aware of the energy inside, throughout me, and all around me, I can even become aware of the other one's energy coming
Exactly.
from me. I can expand the capacity, the ability to recognize whoever is coming across from his or her energy. It's incredible. It's expanding. It's wow.
I have to tell our English viewers how absolutely incredible it was to meet both of you in Milan, to be invited to be there, and to suddenly be with you with everybody there in that neuroscience conference, and everybody was talking freely about energy, about measuring it scientifically, and you even put sensors on somebody's head and brought up all the colors of the brain on the screen. You were doing all the energy work, and you were proving it right there and then. And people were just altering other people's energy fields to heal them, to make them better. There were people there from all over the world with the skills, and you brought them all together in one room, and I was just fascinated. It was amazing, because here people do talk about energy and how we've got chakras and we have an aura, etc. But you there in Italy, in Milan, proved scientifically this is the aura, this is the energy field, this is bioresonance, this is what we can do, this is quantum science, and we can learn. And you were healing one person after another. It was fantastic. That's why you've got to come here. You've got to show people. You've got to.
Just a question of time, Jennie.
Yes, yes.
Let me say something, because you've been. I know that you have this love for Italian, for Italy, for Italian people, and I'm so happy about that. At the same time, we do love English people because of their irony, their sarcasm, their humor. And let me tell you something. There is an Italian inside of every English person.
Yes.
Only by the history, because let's remember that Romans got to there. But because maybe in England, culturally speaking, you are told to be very, oh yes, oh I see, oh very, we say that.
I see.
Right. Oh, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much indeed.
And that, it's like, wow, yeah, wow. For you, it's so thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh my God. Oh my.
I do believe, with the Italian hands, I do believe that there is an Italian inside of every British person. That's the Italian saying, yeah, wow, yeah. But show
Mamma mia!
Mamma mia!
And at the same time, we want to recognize the British in us. You know, the Queen, the elegance, the ability,
yes.
the ability to be
The
firm.
synthesis.
So,
because you're really able to be synthetic. We are speaking a lot, we are gesticulating a lot. You can make the point, you know. I can remember, let's make a smile together. Some years ago, I was teaching with a trainer, a very British trainer. As Italian, I told to him, sorry, my dear, I must go to the toilet. Look at him. It is very interesting. What? His answer to me, as Italian, was natural to say what I will do after. I'm going to the toilet, you know? For a British person, no.
We would say, I'm just going to powder my nose.
So you know that's also has to see with a lot with self-confidence, because I may look like very self-confident in a different culture and absolutely lacking self-confidence in another one. So it's always about perception and perspective. and how we can find the perfect balance that we were talking about, like
Exactly. That's what it's all about, isn't it, guys? It's about balance, about having a bit of what we call decorum or dignity, as well as enthusiasm, having the balance of the cultures. And when I was in Greece, I think I told you this, Esther, at the time. It was very different to me because um, in a lot of English professions, in offices, things are said, but there isn't often a lot of eye contact. Every single Greek person I met, no matter what it was about, they would go, listen, listen.
Yes.
And they get the eye contact first. They didn't want to waste their time talking. If you're not looking at me, I'm not going to talk. They want the eye contact. Listen.
Yes. Yes.
When they
This
talk.
is the contact.
Yes.
This is the contact. And also maybe in your experience with clinical hypnosis, maybe you can tell us what happens and how hypnosis can help us to get in contact with this natural resource that we have inside of us.
That's very interesting, Esther, because I've got on my YouTube channel some confidence recordings, and the way I treat somebody with confidence is I say it's a natural state of being. As little children, we were all confident until we learned not to be. And now we need to recognize that confidence is something that we use, something we employ in the face of risk when we don't know how things are going to turn out. And that's wonderful, because I wonder why it is that when we grow up, we always want to know how something's going to turn out. We want control over a situation. Whereas as children, I think we're confident because we are in awe, we are surprised, we like not to know how things go. We're just being ourselves. And as adults, we think, no, it must go like this. I don't want it to go any other way.
No profile.
Yeah. Do you think that's part of it, that we've learned to not be confident as we've grown up, particularly as women, particularly if we think that men don't like a woman to be confident?
It's also a question of educational, of course. When we were a child, so a new life comes to this word, this material word, saying, what does it mean in Latin language? Sano means complete. So what this means, I come in this word completely aware that I am part of the world. And also I can feel inside myself that I am the center of the world. This is true. I am the center of the world, and I am a part of this world. Without me, this world, it's not the same. So yeah, I am a little part, but this little part, without this little part, this cosmos is not the same.
It's like if we think about the drops in the ocean.
Yes.
One drop is just one drop, one tiny drop. But what is the ocean about? It's about lots of tiny little water drops.
Do you know, this is a big coincidence for me, because I was watching something a few days ago, and it was one of the spiritual gurus, a philosopher, and he said, do you know, lots of people say we are little drops of water all trying to find our way back to the ocean. And he said, this is wrong. We need to realize we're still in the ocean. We don't need to travel anywhere. We are little drops in the ocean, which means we can use the whole ocean if we want to.
Yes, I am the ocean and I am the little drops as well.
So being a drop, I am the ocean.
Exactly.
Being a human being, I am the cosmos. I am the cosmos.
Do you know, ladies, a lot of the things that I've learned over the years with hypnosis, hypnotherapy, with the mesmerism, with the philosophies, with NLP, a lot of it I've realized when I was little, my mother used to tell me, and now we call those here in England old wives' tales. She would say, don't get upset, you'll make yourself ill. You'll make yourself ill. And I thought, how can I make myself ill by crying? And now I realize there's so much truth in everything that she said, because that's what her mother told her. That's what her mother told her. Our grandmothers knew so much about health, so much about well-being, and so much about confidence. Do you agree that women have always known these things?
Of course, and that's what we said in the beginning. We come from, as Esther was saying, we have to connect with the self-confidence of our natural nature. As a feminine, what is our energy like or for, okay, or about? Then education, society, cultural environment,
Leaves.
exactly. Then give us feedback, feed us back with inputs. You have to be like this if you want to be.
Hello?
You have to. You have to do this, and it starts with our parents because we are born perfect. We are born, as you were saying, Jennie. We do not worry about things. We just feel. We just joy. So we, let's say, forget about that original joy because we are told how we should be. So if we go and see about ancient cultures, indigenous or Indians, or the in Amazon, or the older population,
Oh my God, yes.
Amazonian women, yes.
Yes, we love you.
they do still
Love you.
keep such mindset and such awareness. So, could we say that modern times and civilization killed the natural awareness of our natural self confidence as a cosmic being? Could we say
Well, I'm going to tell you a secret now, guys, because Esther
Oh.
Esther did say, so what do you do, Jennie, as a clinical hypnotherapist to make somebody confident? Do you know, I don't have to make them confident at all. All I have to do is de-hypnotize them because they've already been hypnotized to think that they're not confident. All I have to do is reconnect them with their natural state of confidence. It's a very easy job.
I know.
yeah?
I love it.
It's
Yes,
already there, isn't it?
the most of the people think it's easier than we think. Sometimes simplicity overcomes complexity. So it is just this afternoon, I was working with a man that, for coincidence, is suffering of lack of self-esteem. His body is full of rage, and we when we have we have started to go deeper and deeper in this fake, false state. Is a false I am weak. Immediately, the body starts what is called mesmeric crisis. He starts to cry, I just stay quiet, close to him, waiting the body finish his healing process in presence, because we know in magnetic field that the process, even if the phenomena, external phenomena, is sometimes shocking, we are not too much educated to some body language. Sometimes our body is releasing what we are stuck inside of us with very strong manifestation. For him, it was very important to know that there was not a critical eye.
Yes.
To him.
Yes.
Just a presence.
Oh, I'm so glad that you said this, because in hypnosis, when I was first taught, nobody told me the abreactions that can happen. They call them abreactions, where somebody who is in a hypnotic trance might jerk or shake or
Yes.
and it terrified me because nobody told me. And it was, to begin with, it was usually about people who were stopping smoking. And at the time, in their minds, in a trance, when they decided, they chose to give up smoking, they would shake. And I would think, oh dear, what's going wrong? And I realized, because it happens so often, that that was the body ridding itself of the nicotine. It was shaking it off, and it was a good thing. And you are right, of course, and I've seen you do such wonderful things. Oh, Esther, I've seen you do such wonderful things where the energy of some sort of disorder, disease, illness seems to be trapped, like trapped anger in the body, like trapped energy in the body that needs to come out. It needs to be expressed.
The external manifestation was very strong to see.
Yeah.
Even loud. He started to cry. He started to even to fuck off, you know. He changed his voice. Sorry for fuck off, it's not for you, but I was just...
Well, I understand that you are right.
As well, yesterday I was talking with her, and it was very interesting to me to listen that for her approach, the counselor approach, when the emotion is finally free, released, the person starts to cry. And for that approach, this means that the process is started and the person is on the right path.
Well, this is what I want the English people to notice, because even me as an English person, before I learned the hypnotherapy and had the experience, we don't like to see people cry. In fact, we don't like to see people expressing much of any sort of emotion here in England. And so we are not confident. I'm talking about culturally. We're not confident in how to handle expressed emotions. And I think that's a big cultural difference. Obviously now I'm a therapist. I see it all the time. I know the value of that expressed emotion. But I think we're brought up, and particularly men, little boys are brought up to have a stiff upper lip, and to not cry, to not get too emotional. We would say, our parents would say, there'll be tears before bedtime. If we got too excited, there'll be tears before bedtime. Calm down, calm down.
Yeah, that is,
We're not used to handling that raw emotion, and so we then don't express it typically as a culture.
and actually, when I lived in Venezuela, I was impressed because everybody cries over there. I thought that we were emotional, but actually we are like Swedish compared to I saw men crying and crying, and I was like, me being Italian, I was like, oh my God. I'm talking about 20 years ago. Before I studied, before I became what I am now, professionally speaking. And in Italy also, we do have difficulties. Maybe we're a little warmer compared to English people. At the same time, when I went to South America, I found out that we are like North Pole because people there actually cry. And men, they do cry a lot, and it's okay. And they are brave when they do it. They just, yeah, cry together. And I was like,
Let's cry together.
we're crying. They cry together. So I was like, oh my God. But actually, on the other hand, I was admired because that manifesting those feelings, those emotions was in the crying, but also in the everyday life, in relationship. And me, I added such thing to my human heart disk. I learned that. And when I studied and when I became myself a professional counselor, when I work with my clients, actually, I encourage them to what I do to go and recover the self-confidence and enforce and work on the empowerment is exactly that. Go and hand by hand with my client try to take away all those voices, all those uh, programs that, as you were saying, Jenny, is there will be tears before you go. So you
What?
have to go back, you have to walk through that and decide. That's what my mother used to say. Is it still good for me today, or I can allow myself to cry even before nighttime, even before going to, you know? So
I
it's
have
a
to tell you also, in 1994, yes, that's how old I am. In 1994, I qualified as a Louise Hay teacher. And that's an American organization which is very popular about self-development and love and healing the world, healing oneself. And one of the exercises, bear in mind it was run by Americans, so American people came to England. One of the exercises for me to be a Louise Hay teacher was to do this exercise.
Yeah. Whoa.
We all had to have a pillow.
Yes.
And the exercise was to connect with your rage, connect with everything that's wrong, your anger, to get confident and angry about things and release it from the body. And so what I want you to do is to hit this pillow as hard as you can, get it all out. Do you know what? I was the only one in the room going, well, I really don't think it's appropriate. I don't have any anger, actually. I'm British, don't you know?
I'm afraid it is not. I'm afraid it is.
So I see. You
I
mean by
see.
that? Oh, I see.
I see.
I was scared.
I just killed the neighbor. Oh, I see.
I see.
How interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Exactly. And that is something that I do love about British people. I do love that because it's so like it's like the essence. It's like the extreme synthesis of everything. It's like a small little, a little drop hiding a huge ocean of.
Well, I think you're right, Fiammetta, because do you know Star Trek? Do you have Star Trek
Yes,
over
of
there?
course.
Love
Do
it.
you know, so you know what a Vulcan is with the pointy ears?
Yes.
Mr. Spock. I've got this theory that English live long and prosper. Yeah. I've got this theory that mostly when we go to school, particularly Oxford and Cambridge here, when people go to school and these universities, I think they're taught that the emotions are dangerous and you've got such a power of emotions because your emotions are your power, aren't they, really? You've got such emotion, such energy within you. It could be damaging. So we need to
Control.
dampen it down and so we're like Vulcans. It's not that we don't have emotions, it's that we just pretend that we're very calm.
Of course you do, and we all do. And the fact is that we fear, first of all, we don't even know all of them, but we do fear emotions because we love control. And emotion take that away from us. So that is why, at the same time, they are our most powerful strength because they can overcome our mind control. So we can learn how to know them and walk through them in order for them to be like the wave you surf onto.
And I think that's why you appear more confident because it seems to us as if you don't put up with the same things, you don't cope, you don't, because you react more emotionally or you're not worried or scared of your emotions over there. Our perception as English people is that, well, it's all right for you. You don't like something, you tell somebody. It's all right for you. We have to put up with things and just carry on. We have to carry on because we're British, put up with and cope with all these terrible things happening until we're pushed too far. When we're pushed,
I was very when you have talked to us about the pillow experience. In my mind, I was thinking, oh, maybe this is a coincidence, or maybe not. When we are desperate, when we are exhausted, when we are, our pillow knows a lot of secrets about us.
yeah.
And maybe this choice to use the pillow for healing is not casual. I think it's genial, this kind of exercise, because in fact, our pillow is, yes, is concerning and is testimonial of our real truth, our real being. You know, this was I want just to share my thoughts about this.
It's also the perfect container for our tears. You know,
Exactly,
how many of our tears go down to the pillow?
exactly. That's why I was thinking this is really, really genius. I mean, this is very, it's perfect, this exercise. But girls, what can we say about our next edition to our public, our friends?
To our audience. Well,
Yes, we will, this edition finish tonight. We will meet again maybe in late August or September with a new version, a new edition,
a
and
new
we are, yes, we will talk always about love and different linked topics. And we will really, we would like to have your intervention. What topic you would like we to discuss? What you are thinking about the argumentation we have talked about during this edition. And of course, I invite you to contact Fiammetta, to contact Jennie, or to contact me if you have some question, if you want just to contact us. Here we are. We are real.
just contact just contact us, okay? We come in peace.
I love.
I want to say that I was very, very happy and honored, Jenny. You asked us to be here. I really enjoyed the time we shared together and the topics we've been talking about, the way we did it. It is a real pleasure for me to share with you, ladies. You are like gurus to me. Each
Can
one
you?
in, we've been touching topics like magnetism. Ooh, very,
Whoa,
very.
whoa.
We've been talking about hypnosis. Wow, very like this also. And and me that I am uh, talking about the heart's emotions. How can we know them better? They are our most powerful allies. So, how can we get to know them? How can we get to use them in our favor? So, yes, it
So
will be
love and peace.
it
Do you
will
know,
be
Fiammetta, the YouTube video that I've got of the Neuroscience Conference with Esther on stage and with you in the audience, you're just sitting there. Oh, you're just full of love, and you just, oh, it's just a wonderful expression on your face. And it was, I wished that I could convey, I wished I could tell people how wonderful that conference was. And all I can hope is that you do come here so that in person people can be healed in moments. People can really be fascinated, literally fascinated by mesmerism. And I think everybody's ready now to accept these ideas and at least experiment with them. It's time to speed up the healing. It's time to allow ourselves to be rid of all these stuck emotions in the body and to be freer and to be able to express and release emotions. And I'm really hoping that you two come over here. Imagine 3 of us in the room with 1,000 people, and we go, sleep, sleep, heal, heal. Everything's wonderful. We can all be.
I would see, I even beyond that, because the three of us, we sensed that, we experimented that. What I was thinking about, imagine the three of us with our energy field connecting with all those other energy fields, how we can influence the other one's energetic fields by expressing our energy. Because if I am self confident and you stay with me as we say in Italy, chi va con lo zoppo impara a zoppicare. If you go with the how do you say it? Okay, you will learn too. So if I spend time beside someone who's strongly self-confident, in the end, I will take that.
Yes, it's like osmosis process.
I'm going to bring my mother into this again, because my mother used to say when she saw somebody rich or lucky, or when somebody had some good fortune, she would say, "Come and rub shoulders with me. Come and rub shoulders with me." See, she knew, didn't she? She knew.
Yes.
Jenny, I want to meet your mother. So
Me as well, please.
hypnotize me and let me get to the dimension I can tell her how thankful I am she gave you life and all that wisdom.
Oh,
Please.
bless you. Thank you.
We can say, let's keep in touch. This is not a click. Let's keep in touch, really in touch. So
Yes.
I wish you to meet in person and get in touch with you.
Yes.
Please keep in touch. Feel free to write, to get in touch, to write to Esther and find out more about magnetism, to write to me and find out more about emotional strategies, and get in touch with Jennie to know more about why she's Hypnowoman. And also let us know what you think about, what you would love us to talk about, and get ready because it is a fact. We are going to be together in England. So
Yay. You can always leave a comment, even if you're watching the replay. Leave a comment below. Hi, ask us a question. I'll be looking and I'll be asking and we'll be communicating with you guys. We want feedback. We want to. Do you want Esther and Fiammetta to be here this year, 2020, in England? Come on, let us know all about it. And before then, I want you to live long and prosper. So everybody can live long and prosper.
love you all, no matter how I see. Thank you very much indeed. I love you. We're wonderful. We're different, and that's the most beautiful thing. We are all different. So.
Very different, and very wonderful. Thank you both so much.
Mua Jenny. Ciao Fiammetta.
Ciao.
Ciao
Ciao.
a tutti.